Yep. Good evening, everyone. So, yesterday we learnt about few Node.js related modules. So, Node modules, till now you have seen how to use a HTTP module and OS module, path module. Yesterday we learnt about the process module, another one FS, file stream module, right? So what is purpose of HTTP module? It is used for creating and managing servers. OS server, it gets server operating system related details. Path, it will return the file path. It will return the file path of any file present on server. Path details. Path details means like what is the directory name, file name, extension name and all. Process is going to get the current thread related details. Application usually runs in a process, and when application is running in a process, that process related details you can access by using process IDs and all. That is process. FS is file stream. File stream object is used for reading, writing and the files. But initially, if you know the basic of reading and returning the file, that is enough, right? Yesterday I showed you it uses synchronous and asynchronous techniques. And we saw one example with that, how synchronous asynchronous works, right? Next, in the modules, we have another module that is a URL module. We have another URL module. URL module. Actually, the path and URL. So you already learnt in your classes in HTML, CSS when we started learning creating a project. When we started learning creating a project, if you remembered, you learnt about the definition. You remember the definition, what is a website? What is a website? Website is a virtual directory. Remember the definition? Huh? In the beginning of your web designing, when you started learning HTML, when you created a project, you created web application. Then technically, websites, web applications are virtual directories. Virtual directory, and usually every website or application will have two paths. One physical path, another virtual. What is physical path? Physical path is the location where you can store the resources. We can store the resources. We can access the resources by using what? Virtual path. Virtual path. So path is a module which is used for the physical path. You can use the virtual path also, but in physical path, which drive, which directory, which location you are working, you can access the details by using path. URL is a virtual path. What is URL? URL is virtual path. You already know. Uniform resource locator. In the beginning of web designing, when you started learning creating projects, you learned all this, right? Now, if anyone asks what is difference between path and URL, path refers to a physical path of resource and URL refers to an virtual path. Actually, web application comprises of two paths, the physical path and virtual. Originally, you can try this. You can see this in your computers. I will show you the process. This you don't need to try, but you should understand that, okay, this is how the websites actually work. Means on server, one basic thing you can see. Even if you want, you can try. I will give you some steps for that. Actually, suppose I will show you how a website works, it design, and you can understand the path and URL points. Clearly, you can know the concept. Suppose you are using Windows. In your Windows, you already have a web server. Windows operating system comes with one web server internally. Actually, you are installing live server now, but directly there is a web server in your operating system, but it is not available on Mac and Linux. For Mac and Linux, they have to use other web servers called Apache Tomcat or WAMP, XAMPP servers are present. They have to use it. But if you have Windows, you can try this. So I will show you just the process, and you can keep a note about it separately, and you can even try to understand the website path, right? In interviews, few questions they ask regularly about this. What is physical path? What is virtual path? What is URL? What is URI? And what is relative path? What is absolute path? These are some questions, regularly asked questions. So you can see, you can try that. If your computer is already having Windows, Windows operating system actually have a server, web server. They provide one web server internally. You have to just make sure that it is on. Usually web server is not on. You have to check whether the web server is on. How to do that is, go to your control panel. In the control panel, you will find programs and features. Actually, control panel sometimes looks like this. This is category wise. Control panel is category wise. What you have to do here, change the category to large icons. Then it will show like this. Now in this control panel, open programs and features. When you go to programs and features, in programs and features, it will show list of all programs installed in your PC. These are all the programs installed in my PC. Generally, people add programs, remove programs, softwares, anything they install from here. Left side, you will find turn Windows features on off. You select the turn Windows features on off. Then in the list, you will find a server called IIS, Internet Information Services. This is actually name of web server. Every Windows operating system have a web server. Internally they provide. You actually, why I haven't showed you this server or I haven't showed you other faculties also, they don't show you this immediately because it's a lengthy process of configuring server. But in reality, this is how a .NET, Java, PHP, Python people have to work with their apps. They have to work with that apps. So you don't need to do that. You will learn it towards the end. Once you know the technology, then you will learn. So that is the reason to make it simple in the beginning days, your faculties will train you on some live server, install it and use it. But actually your PCs have servers inbuilt. If it is Windows, it is having a server inbuilt. Or other technology people install server, and we have servers like WAMP, XAMPP like servers. I will show you. They can install them and use them if they are using Mac or Linux like operating systems. You see, this web server, make sure that it is selected. By default, in some computers, it is not selected. Make sure that it is selected. Selected means checkbox is checked or not. It is intermediate selection. Intermediate selection means what? Some features selected, some not selected. No need to worry. You have to just expand that. So you need to just expand it, and you make sure that you selected all. Actually, I am not selecting any FTP server. I am selecting already. I am selecting here web management tools, World Wide Web services and all. You make sure that you selected all of them. Just select all of them. And once you say OK, it will add that to your PC. Now your computer is having a web server. How do we open it? We have to go to programs. You can search for IIS. It will get Internet Information Services. Actually, this is the web server. This is how a server looks like. So this is the location where our people will design the app, configure the settings for app, everything we do here. Actually, in real time, what happens is you are developers. What is your job? You will not create an app. Already app is created. You will just work inside the app. Because to create an app, that is not everybody's job. Our senior expert team, according to the project requirements, they design the app. Actually, when you are learning Angular, React, web technologies, every technology will teach you how to create an app. But in real work projects, you will never create apps. Because who are you to create an app? App is designed by your senior team. It is completely constructed. In that app, you have to work. So you have to work in 1-tier, 2-tier, 3-tier infrastructure. This is actually web server. You see here, this is the server name. This is the server name. That is the physical name. Actually, my server name is this physical name. If you remembered yesterday, when I used a platform host name, it has written this name. This is my server name, but that is physical name. Its virtual name is C. What is its virtual name? http:// what is it? Localhost. You know its IP address now? What is the IP address? 127.0.0.1. And observe here, you can see when you expand this, there is a sites folder. You remembered I showed you one web architecture. In that web architecture in web server, I showed you application pools. You see there is an application pool here. Application pool indicates what applications are supported on your server. And you see there is a sites folder. This is the location where we maintain our websites. So you expand, you will find a default website. All websites are maintained here. That means you see in my computer already I am having some website. Actually, you can create your websites here. So what I told you in the first day definition, when you started learning web designing, I given you a definition about what is a website, right? You have the definition. Huh? Remember the definition, website is not a collection of web pages. Website is a virtual directory. Virtual directory. And I told you that every website will have a physical path and virtual path. You see now, right click. I want to create a website. So right click on default website and there is an option add virtual directory. We have an option add virtual directory. So technically website is an virtual directory. When I select add virtual directory, you see it is asking what should be the website name. You can give any name for the website. Any name for the website. Suppose I will give the name as food blog, something like that. I given the website name as food blog. You can give any name. Any name you can give. And it is asking where this website related files are stored, physical path. Every website needs a virtual path and physical path. You have to select the location where we have to store. That means you click this. When you click this, it will ask where to store. Suppose in my E drive, I will create a new folder and the folder name I will give as food blog. That is the folder name. Okay. That means this is the location where we keep the resources. In the beginning, when you learned the HTML concepts of creating projects and all, I showed you a reverse way. What you done? First you create a folder. After that open the folder in Visual Studio Code, configure the project, right? Actually we create websites like this, local websites like this. Now see, when I say OK, the website is created. Now website is created and what is my website name? Food blog. Now this website have a physical path. What is its physical path? We will go to that physical path. What is it? E drive. In E drive we have a food blogger. Yeah. In this we keep the resources. Resources like images, documents, pages. For example, you know every website starts with which page? Index.html page. So see now, I will open Notepad, simple Notepad. I am creating a HTML page. Doc type HTML, head, title, some food blog and title close, head close. So body and here, so welcome to my food blog, something like this, and close heading, close body, close HTML. Now save this. Where to save? In the physical path. In E drive, food blog, what is the file name? Index.what? HTML. I saved it. Okay. Now close. Now your website is ready. You open simple browser and request here. How do we request in the browser? I need to request the virtual path. HTTP http:// I can use the word what? Localhost or IP address. After that slash, simply website name, food blog. And when I hit enter, it gets the index page and it should return it. This is how actually websites are managed and maintained. You know, almost 7 years back, web designing means we used to teach like this. We don't have Visual Studio Code, or we don't even use editors. We use only Notepad. And people learn entire their HTML through Notepad. And if you do so, you will be very good in your technology. These days, what is problem is you people don't have much time. You are very busy now. You people don't have much time. If we show any lengthy complex process, you feel like it is boring, it is very slow. You feel like, why I need this lengthy process, tell me shortcuts. You are from this type of generation. That's the reason your generation developers, our generation developers, you can't even match 5% also. That means in the concept of technology, technique, skills, you can't match. Why? Because earlier we used to do everything manual. We don't have any help. That means if I give a Visual Studio Code to you and ask you to design a HTML page, you will use all shortcuts to generate a page. You will take all help while typing. But earlier we used to do this. And why we avoid telling all this to you? But actually, if a developer knows this process, means he clearly understands what actually website is, how it is designed, how the resources are kept and accessible. Generally, in future, when you are working in different various high level technologies, this kind of approach is important to understand. But generally, you people want fast everything. That means when you join any course, first question what you will ask, when it will finish. You will not ask how much you will learn. You will ask when it will finish. Why? What you will do after finish? So finishing is not just important. You have to make sure that you know majority of concept. Because these days to crack interviews, all these questions are required to understand. That means complex questions. Even for fresher, they ask them. So why I showed you this? Because you need to clearly understand what is path and what is URL. Now tell me what is URL? URL is a virtual path used by the clients to access resources from a website. What is physical path? Physical path is a location of website on the server where all the resources are kept. Developer will have access to physical path and user can access the resources through virtual path. Actually, the same thing you done earlier also when you started HTML learning. But there how you may learn, create one folder, open it in Visual Studio Code, add the files into it, design them and install one live server and use. You know, now I am not installing any server. Already inbuilt I am having. Do you know I am not using any editor now? No start server, stop server, nothing. Already server is running in my computer. I have to just open my websites. That means actually in this type of environment, Java, .NET, Python, PHP, all types of applications run. Right? So this is to understand the virtual and physical path. What is path and what is URL? Now, path related details you can access through path module. URL related details you can access by using URL module. Actually, now in the URL also, so many points are there. Means if you want to try this process, I will give a note. You can try, but not required. Just if you have interest in watching how a server works, how a website runs, you can try the same process what I have done. I will just give a process for you. Before going into that module, I will give a process here. If you want, you can try that process. What I showed you is a website on a local server. So what you have to do is open Windows control panel and switch to categories, switch to large icons and go to programs and features and click on turn Windows features on or off, and there what you have to do, select Internet Information Services IIS checkbox. Then click OK to add local server. This is available in all Windows PCs. You can try. After that, what you have to do after doing this, create site. For that, what you need to do, open IIS from your programs. Expand local computer. Then expand means plus sign will be there. Huh? Expand sites folder. In that, right click on default website. There you have to select add virtual directory. Add virtual directory is, that is what website is. Add virtual directory. Here it will ask alias name. Alias means website name. So alias name we will give as, the alias name is some I given food blog. Physical path. Physical path is, what is the physical path here? Some e:/food blog. That means you have to create a folder by name food blog. Now what we have to do is add index.html into physical path. You can create from anywhere you want. You can open in VS Code and you can design it, no problem. That means now this path I can open in VS Code now and I can create one HTML page and you can do. I done with Notepad, you do it like. Next what? Open any browser and request what you have to request. HTTP:// localhost/food blog. That's it. You need to just request this path. Or you can use IP address of your server 127.0.0.1 and slash food blog. If you have observed, here there is no port number. 5500 like that, port numbers will not be there. Because directly we are hosting a site on server. We are not taking help of any temporary port number. So now permanent location of this project is this. You don't have any port numbers now. Usually you will not see any port number in real time. www.somename.com, right? You will not see any port numbers. Actually, this is the process of creating a website, maintaining any website for application. Now, what is URL? This is important point. So, what is a URL? How you define URL? URL is Uniform Resource Locator, or location. Actually, URL, it is a virtual path. It is a virtual path used to access resources from a website or application on server. It is a virtual path used to access resources from a website or web application. So that is actually URL. Right. So usually URL looks like this. So http://www dot some amazon.in, something like this, the URL looks like. According to our project, we have a different URL. Now, what are the points to understand here is, so usually we need to know the concept like here, the detail of this URL. You know, this is what? So in the URL HTTP, it is a protocol. It is a protocol. Actually, what is protocol? A protocol defines the rules, how the communication should happen in a network. That means in a network, the communication rules are defined by using HTTP. Now, protocols. For example, suppose you are using some chatting app like WhatsApp or some messaging app. In that messaging app, you want to send a message to any user. Now, how much length message we can send? How much message length it is allowed to send as a message on WhatsApp? You are using some SMS app. In SMS app, not WhatsApp, general SMS app, how much length message you can send as message? Any? Any size? No. You know, you cannot send more than 30 photos at a time. There is limit, na? Right? Why? I should able to send anything. No, you don't have so the facility to send whatever you want, whatever size you want. There are some rules because when you are communicating in a network, because you are using servers for handling communication, depending on the limit, means depending on their capacity, the range, we set some rules saying that please don't send more than this. If you try to do, our server is unable to receive them because that is the limit or the restriction capacity for safety or memory management. We set some rules and we tell that according to these rules, your message must be this much lengthy. If you send more lengthy message, if you have observed, it will divide that into two parts or three parts. In SMS app also, if you are trying to send a lengthy message, it will convert into 2-3 messages. It will send them in 3 messages. So, what type of content we can share, how much size content we can share. So, these all limits are set by using protocols. That means this protocol sets the rules for communication in a web application. In web application or website, the communication related rules are defined by a protocol called HTTP. So all websites, web applications, they use which protocol? HTTP. Like that, so there are so many protocols. That means actually what is protocol? So it is a protocol. It defines set of rules for handling communication in a web application. Handling communication in web application. Actually, so there are various types of protocols. There are various types of protocols like file, FTP, SMTP, SMTP, MSMQ, named pipes. So many are present. There are various types of protocols. File, FTP, SMTP, MSMQ, named pipes. So these are different types of protocols actually. For example, I am having a web server. What is web server? I showed you just now one web server, IIS, Internet Information Services. Actually, you will have so many other web servers like WAMP server. You see, this is a WAMP server. This is the WAMP server. This is WAMP server. This is one WAMP server. PHP, MySQL, Windows, all these people can use this web server. This is actually WAMP server. You can download this server and you can build web applications. You can build web application. Usually people who learn PHP, JSP, ASP, they can use different servers because on Windows, they will have a built-in server. But if you are using Mac or Linux or any other operating system, there you don't have IIS. IIS is a special server for Microsoft. Actually, all Microsoft web applications use this IIS as server. Now you see WAMP server is there, XAMPP server is there. So there is an XAMPP server also. WAMP and the XAMPP server. This is a XAMPP server. This is a XAMPP server. This is actually Apache. It is used by various technologies like Java, PHP, Perl, Python. Perl is also very popular language actually. So Ruby, Perl, Python, these are all web related very famous things. And you have a lot of servers we can download, but these are all extra servers. Now, once you know about these servers, suppose if a server is not there, but still we want to access a website through virtual path, you know what you can do. Suppose if server is there, I am accessing the food court by using what? Food blog, http:// what is it? IP address 127.0.0.1 / what is it? Food blog. I can access that. If I don't have a web server, this will not work. But still, my users can access through another server. Windows operating system provides a file server. How to use file server is, but file server don't have a direct virtual path auto generated. It will be like this: file : // we have to use file : // what is the folder name? E : / in that, what is the folder name? So what is it? Food blog, and hit enter. It will get that folder. You see, this is my website infrastructure. Currently, I am using a file server. From a browser through file server also we can access. But this file server is local. That means what some companies do, they maintain intranet. Intranet means that is a private network for them. And on that intranet, they want their developers to work because nothing is available globally. Because these generally, if I keep anything globally, you may share with somebody else may see it. So generally these days companies will take clear written agreement from you. Like you cannot share your content with others, or you cannot share your even device also. That means suppose you are using a laptop of companies, and in that laptop all the company projects related work you do, you can't share that screen to anybody. Even share the screen to you also, anybody is also prohibited. No, you can't do that. If they know that you are doing that, you are fired out. That's the reason developers, they don't share their screen with others. They don't share their screen with others. That's not recommended actually. That means they can't share their private project which they are doing with somebody else. They can't share the screen. Generally, when software developers, they are learning courses, they are doing projects already, some courses, then usually they have some doubts. They ask like, sir, this doubt is there. Then I can't ask them that share your screen and show me. They will not share. They will not able to share. They will say that, sir, I will send that as a message. What problem I am facing, what is it? But I can't share my screen. I generally cannot ask them that share your screen because that is their project and they cannot share it. They should not share it. So technically, this is local intranet, and you see your files are working fine. Through a file server also we can test, but always better to test with a server, either a HTTP server or a file server. But don't use directly file system. Don't use file system means some people have an habit of what? Open E drive, go to food blog, double click and open this HTML page. Don't ever do this. Don't ever do this. So actually, even you do this, it is using a file server only. It is internally using the same file server, but this is actual file server, how it works, right? So technically, you see now, this is the parent directory. Parent directory means it shows my entire parent root folder. And when you access in that root folder, food block, that is the website directory. In that, we have the pages. That is the reason a lot of commands to understand correctly where our project is present, in which path it is present, in that what files are present. That's important. At learning level, these are all unnecessary. Understood? At learning level, these are all unnecessary, not required, time waste. But still, I explained you because you should have an idea that, okay, this is how it happens. But you don't need to work in this type of environment. That's the reason for you, for learners, we have a standard pattern. In that pattern only we teach you. We say that this is enough for you, because even in interviews also they don't expect more than that from you. But in reality, some experience level, when a person is working on a web application, he should know everything. At experience level, you will come across with all these things, but no need to learn all these things, because here I can even get the detail about everything of my web application. How much size that resource is occupying, when it is recently modified, all such tracking information will be available. So technically, these are protocols. We have file protocol and we have an FTP protocol. SMTP is mail transfer. This is for intranet. When you are using intranet, if you want to access resources, you can use them. This is for mail. SMTP is a mail protocol, simple mail transfer protocol. This is used for email because email servers are separate. Web servers are separate, email servers are separate. And email servers have a separate set of rules. And usually email servers also we have to buy separately. We need to buy web space. We need to buy email space also. Suppose you want a website, you need to buy two spaces. One for web, to store all your HTML pages and all. Another for email. You need to get email space also. Separate email is. You know, I showed you in a few occasions, you have GoDaddy. Na? GoDaddy, like there are so many domain sellers. You can see GoDaddy is one domain seller. GoDaddy is one domain seller. And you see in GoDaddy, suppose I want to host a website. Then actually you go to hosting. Where is it? Web hosting. When you go to web hosting, you can see they will give you some plans. They say that I will give you a web server, 219 per month. In that you can maintain one website and you can have 10 GB storage. And free domain, you will get one free domain and you will get free email. That is only one email. If you want more emails in your website, like for your HR, one email, for your technical team, another email, manager, another email, for every email you have to pay. You see, I will show you here. Let's go. You have email. When I go to email, you see the email plans. For email, separate storage. That means they say that 39 rupees per month per user. And email will give 10 GB of email storage. Email server separate. Web server is separate. So email rules are separate and web server rules are separate. Web server rules to HTTP and HTTPS. HTTPS is secured. Secured is better because it can prevent encoding of data. That means whatever data you submit, it is little secured because it submits through encoding mechanism so that it is not clearly submitted. So majority these days, all websites are not using HTTP. They are using what? HTTP? Yes. It's a secured protocol, secured. How to create a HTTP websites also, it will be on servers only. I showed you IIS now. There we can create HTTPS also, but not required. Just to know, you should understand that. You see, this is IIS now. Actually, when you add websites, usually here we can select what type of protocol we want, HTTP or HTTPS. We can select that. These are all not required for you actually. So just have an idea. You don't need to practically implement them. You don't need to practically implement. So web applications usually have these two protocols. Web server means these two protocols will be there. One is HTTP, another one is HTTPS. HTTPS. Actually, we can build HTTPS websites also. We have to select the securities, what to do, handle everything we can do. So initially, this is one important point you need to understand protocol. And actually, we have a simple another MSMQ is for messaging. Message service, message queue. Message queue. Message queue means that is the reason first message comes first, second message comes second, first in, first out. Queue uses the mechanism of first in, first out, right? And there are so many more protocols are there, but most commonly used protocols are these. So we have what is the web protocols? So what are web server protocols? So web server protocols we have two, HTTP and what? HTTP, yes. S is what? Secured. HTTP and HTTPS, web server protocols. So what is file server protocol? So it is used to access resources on server locally using file system. Actually, we can request like that. So file : /e : food blog, like this you can access. You can access this, it will show all the file structure of that particular folder. That means what subfolders and files it is having, everything you can access. Next important is in the URL. And other protocols are not required. Just to understand, SMTP is mail protocol, MSMQ is messaging protocol, like that. Now, another option is in the URL, you are the in the URL, you can see this is the protocol. And after the protocol, World Wide Web Services, because web server works on WWD, World Wide Web Services. So actually, World Wide Web Services, and in that Amazon.in, this is called domain. We call it as domain. Amazon.in is a domain name. Actually, domain have various extensions. Originally, domain types have some limitations. These days, people don't follow those rules very much, but actually we have to follow the rules. For domain types, we have certain rules. Actually, we have domain types like .com, .org, .edu, so we have like .gov. Like that, so many domains are present. So many domain extensions, domain types are present. Originally, according to web standards, we have certain rules for them. What is difference between com and org? I am not asking full form. Huh? Com is commercial, org is organization, edu is education, gov is government. We know that. What is difference between them? They have certain rules. A com, any com means they are not benefited by the users. They are benefited by the users. Org not benefited by users. That means ORG are like they are non-beneficial organizations. That means you are starting some non-beneficial organization. You are not benefited by it. You are giving services to people without any benefits taken from them. Then it is what? You can take donations from them, but you are not benefited by them. That means benefits means even user don't want, means I don't want to give money, but you will get money from me. That means you see, suppose on a YouTube channel, you are watching somebody's video, he will get money. Understood? He will get money. Are you paying him? No. Some people pay them. You know, on YouTube, when they go live, then their subscribers wants to chat with that person. Then do you know they have to pay money? They can pay money. I will send you 50 rupees. Then he will take my question. He will answer me. 100 rupees, more priority. That's how they make money with YouTube live. Right? YouTube live, they make money with YouTube live. That means even you don't pay, he's benefited by you because you are watching it, you are liking it, you are commenting on it, they get benefits from you. These type of things are called as com. Com means commercial. ORG means they are non-beneficial, they are not benefited by you. And EDU means specially meant for only education purpose. But these days you see several education websites. All education websites are having com because they are commercial. They are not providing any education services. Actually, in other countries, they have to strictly follow. That means in other countries, a university website means they have EDU, education. That means they have to follow the rules. GOV is government, not, but remember, you cannot tell this For every domain, you cannot tell in full form or abbreviation because suppose, do you know our government websites have NIC, nic.in. This is subdomain, Indian, US and all like that. Do you know what is NIC? NIC is National Informatics Center. These are the people very famous in India who build websites for our Indian government. They have a contract. That is the reason majority of our government websites are managed by, if they are managed by NIC, then they will have .nic.in. That means it is not like everybody should have only org or gov. That depends on their business, depends on their service. Actually, every domain type have some rules. According to the rules only we choose. But these days people choose according to the names availability. If com is not there, they will take something net, something like org. But in an org, they cannot put any commercial things. That is opposite to the rules of web, standards of web. That is the reason you must see, you might have seen, I will show you actually, you might have seen UNESCO, UNESCO, right? You see UNESCO, you see the UNESCO is giving some, it is an org. UNESCO have an org. This is an organization. This is org. These are not commercial people. They provide services to you and they are not expecting any benefits from you. They are not expected with any benefits from you. This is what org. Organization, education, government. Actually, I told you NIC. NIC, National Informatics Center. So this is the official website. This is NIC, National Informatics Center. These people are maintaining websites for Government of India, NIC. Majority of government websites are built by these people because see, they have to according to the rules, standards and everything. And generally when NIC is maintaining, not everybody. For example, we have our Ministry of External Affairs, that is passports, visa. It is maintained by Wipro. Wipro, not TCS. TCS maintains that website. Several websites are maintained by Microsoft also. In several states in our country, Microsoft is a partner with government. Microsoft is a partner with government. Several state governments, Microsoft is a partner. Do you know? Microsoft have a, I will tell you here, suppose you see, which one, we have Sparsh and all these are there. One website is Nidhi portal is there. Yeah. This is one government related website. You see, this is Finance Department, Government of Andhra Pradesh. And do you know, actually, in this website, this is Finance Department. These are the people of Andhra Pradesh Finance Department. Do you know, in this Finance Department, the employees who are working, there will be government employees. But this website need to be maintained. This website. Do you know this website is designed in React.js? It is designed in React.js. And in Andhra Pradesh, we have a government headquarters. There, Microsoft outsourcing employees are working in this location. Actually, there is a Nidhi Bhavan in Andhra Pradesh. And in that Nidhi Bhavan, there will be outsourcing employees, Microsoft outsourcing employees. They are Microsoft people. working in government office with government employees. And what these government employees do, they ask that in this website these requirements we need, they have to do it. That means they need to build, they need to maintain this website, all the transactions they have to manage. This is completely built in React.js. There are employees working there and there are outsourcing people working there. It is completely in React.js. So that means the point here is what happens, all the functionalities generally, they are all the functionalities designed. These are all the functionalities designed by React.js. And here outsourcing people will be working. Actually, they don't have huge salaries. Outsourcing people have very less pay scales. They don't have much salaries. That means directly working in Microsoft is different. Outsourcing for Microsoft in government offices is different. They have less packages. Maximum they may get a 30-40K per month. But they just like government contract employees. Several states related, Wipro is there, IBM is there, Microsoft is there. They are maintaining several states related business, government. In that case, what they do is they have their own domain extensions, .nic.in. They give their own domain extensions. That is the reason we cannot tell the meaning of every domain extension. So we have various domain extensions. So what is domain? So domain is actually, it is the reference name of business on www, which we call it as what? World Wide Web. It is the reference name of business on World Wide Web. That means like Amazon.in. Amazon.in. That is a domain. Some UNESCO.org, like this. These are the domains. So suppose some name.gov.in, like this. They have different domain extensions. Actually, here in this case, gov.in, this is called as subdomain. Gov is a domain and in that in is a subdomain. In US, UK, like that, different subdomains will be there. So because later you have to purchase the domains, maintain a space for them, you need to upload the resources there. You should know these basic points also. So URL comprises of protocol and the domain. Actually, another important point you should know is what is URI. URL is different and URI is different. Actually, URI is so uniform resource identifier. Uniform resource identifier. This also required in different locations. We use them. Means actually URI is a part of URL. URI is not completely different. URI is a part of URL. It is a part of URL. Generally, what is this identifier? Uniform resource identifier is, for example, actually you know that where you learned, suppose you learned intra-document links, hyperlinks you learned now. When you learned hyperlinks, user can navigate from one location to another within the same page. For example, suppose we are having Suppose let me copy some paragraph. Okay. Actually, what I am doing is, this is index page. In that I have a paragraph. Close the paragraph. I am designing one paragraph. So many paragraphs information is there. And somewhere in the paragraphs here, somewhere in the paragraphs, yeah. What I will do is, here I will keep a heading. Here heading like, suppose I'll say fashion, something like this, like say food court, something like this I give it. And I put a ID here as court, ID as court, okay. Now what happens is I open this http://127.001/ food blog, and in that food blog, when I open, index page will come. Now in this index page, actually the page name is what? /index dot what? HTML. In that hash quote I am typing. That means in this page I am watching this. Then when I hit enter, it will navigate me to that location. It will navigate me to that location. You already learned this in hyperlinks, intra-document links. That means, what is this hash code? What is that hash code? It refers to an ID in page. Am I right? It refers to an ID in the page, so that when I enter the ID, it navigates to that particular ID. It refers to an ID in the page. So when you go there, it will navigate to that particular ID. So that means now it is going to access this particular ID. Now remember, this entire path is called as what? URL, and only this part is called as URI. Understand? That means URL means complete location where which one you are watching. Identifier means inside the current watch where you are. Inside the current context where you are. In which location you are. That is actually URI. URI will get precise information about in a page where he is. Due to this only, several websites, they can continue where you left. Am I right? Several websites, when you open any website, you watched a lengthy document, some 400 pages are there, you watched up to 100. Just observe PDF files and all. When you next time open that file, directly it will start from where you left. How a browser or a app knows exactly where I left in a page? That is through an identifier inside the page. Navigating to the page is URL. Navigating to a location inside the page is an URI. It is an identifier. That is why URIs plays one major role in the modern web design. And there is very much difference between URL and URI. So URI is a part of URL. It exactly identifies the location in the current context. So it exactly identifies. So identifies the user location in current context of URL. In the current context of URL, that is URI. index.html / some code, something like this, as I given to you. index.html hash code. This you can refer as what? URI. This complete you can refer as what? URL. It is same like actually, if anybody asked you like, what is difference between email ID and email address? Both are same, huh? Both are not same. Email ID is different, email address is different. Where we use them is also different. Email ID, email address. If anyone asks, tell me your email ID, that is different. Email address, that is different. Actually, what is the point here? Suppose, so some name 123 at gmail.com. This is email address. Name 123, that is email ID. Suppose in Google Gmail website, you want to log in into Google. In Google, you want to log in into your email. Then you don't need this entire address to type. You just need this ID only. Do you know? You know this, huh? You just need only this ID. You don't need this complete address. Understood, huh? Why? Because already you are in that context. Then you just need ID. Suppose in Facebook, I need to log in with my Gmail. Then this ID is enough, huh? Not enough. I need complete address because I am using from a different location. From a different location I want to access, then it is URL. In the same location I want to access something, then that is what? URI. Understood? That is the concept of URL and URI. Right? This is technically one simple point to understand how the URL, URI options work. Now, because these are all asked in interviews, you should know that for freshers, protocol, port number, domain. Actually, in the beginning of web design learning itself, we have to teach you all this. Because all these days, how you are a web developer after all without knowing difference between URL and URI? Without knowing minimum difference between a website, web application, without even knowing what is HTTP. Seriously, you finished 4 months of web designing without knowing difference between URL and URI. HTTP, HTTPS, you don't know what they are. But actually, that is good because in the beginning itself, we put all this in your brains, you will run away. Right? That means you will think that what is this, so much is there. Right? That's the reason what we say that, okay, we will handle all this at the end because by the end of the concepts, he knows majority of things. He already aware of everything, just he can easily understand. In the beginning itself, we deliver this all to a learner, then confuse him. Because he never worked with anything and you are telling about so many things, then he will be confused. Actually, we have to start learning web designing from these topics. We have to start learning web designing from these topics. What is website, web application, URL, URI, protocol, domain name, why domain extensions will be like that. But it is difficult to understand these concepts because now if I explain URI, you will understand because you already worked with it. You know how to define IDs, how to reach the IDs. In a fresher level, in the beginning, first 2 days, if I tell all this, you will be confused. You can't understand. That's the reason we need to wait for all this. Because once you start learning server-side programming, this all will be important. Now, we have a special module to completely use this URL. And what is that module? URL module. Node.js have a URL module. Right now, we need to see how to use that module, how to access pages, display them, and use them. That we'll see in next session. Right? In next session, we will discuss about all the server side modules, events, event handling, how events are written. You learned in JavaScript, you learned on click, on change, on blur. Now you will learn how to build such events by yourself. All these days you have used events. On click is an event, on change is an event. Now you will build your own events. You will understand how to design my own events and use them in applications that you will see. That is also very important in Node. That we'll see in next session. Okay. And next session, I'm not available for 2 days. I'm leaving out of station. So our next session will be on 19th. Monday, Tuesday, no session. Our next session will be on 19. I'm not available for 2 days. Only my sessions will not be there. Again, our session will be on 19. Okay. Right. Thank you.